We're back for a complete step-by-step guide on how to professionally install an epoxy and polyaspartic garage floor. From the detailed prep work involved, all the way through installation. Say hi to Richard, down from Massachusetts, doing some training with us today, and Jason from Concrete Floor Solutions, as we take you on rare, behind-the-scene footage of how to install a perfect epoxy and polyaspartic garage floor.
River City seal coating. They know how to do it right. I'm just going to walk you around on the outside of the job site here. I'm going to show you what they're prepping to get ready here. Getting the vacuum all set up. Emptying some dust that was in there. I want to show you the inside of their trailer here. Now, they have an 8-inch shot blaster. This is a Blast Track. I believe it's a 8-inch Blast Track. They have their tools organized on the wall. They got their squeegee, 18-inch roller vacuum system there. Another vacuum there, hoses. Looks pretty well organized considering. Got all their tools laid out here. Got a nice drop cloth. Now the grinder they use is a HTC 800 Classic. And this may look familiar because this is the same grinder that was in all of our videos. They purchased all of our equipment when we got out of the installation business. And I want to show you the diamonds they have on there. Right now they have, these are the SACE diamonds, 25 grit orange. So these are for extremely hard concrete. But for those of you who aren't familiar with these planetary grinders, these grinders, as they spin, they roll around in a planetary fashion, and it floats really well on the floor. This particular grinder is really nice because it has this floating shroud. Floating shrouds are really nice. If you have the elastic shrouds, you're constantly trying to adjust the shroud, and it's a pain. Don't let me get in your way. So they're getting the hose out, they're getting ready to hook that up. Now I'm going to take you in, I'm just going to show you the job that we're going to do today. So there's stem walls around the perimeter here. They're going to coat these stem walls. Sean is really good at stem walls. He might not like to say that, but he is. So we have the stem walls all the way around the perimeter, so there's going to be some detail work here. This is about 500 square feet. Joints in the floor, I believe they're leaving these joints open. And they're just going over the back room here. Sean, Richard, good morning, gentlemen. Yes, sir, I showed your trailer. Richard? Richard is going to be getting into the business. Where are you out of now?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. So Richard's going to be joining the epoxy flooring industry in the very near future. So I'm just going to show this job here, let you guys go about your thing here. Get in the crash course. This is a back storage room here. All right, so these guys are still staging over here, getting all the equipment ready, getting hooked up. I just want to go over the system we're installing today. So this is going to be a 3-coat system. It includes a low viscosity epoxy primer. And by the way, this is our 500 square foot complete epoxy flake floor kit. It includes the CFS low viscosity epoxy primer, the CFS intermediate coat, and then 4 gallons of the CFS 2C polyaspartic. The flake we're using today, this is the Domino Flake, FB411 Domino Flake, a very common color. So that's the system we're installing. So, Sean, where are you terminating this floor at now?
All right, so usually what we like to do is customers have a few options. Option one, which I prefer, most cleanest look, is we're going to end it right where the garage floor falls. We're going to come down, drop the garage floor, the garage door, and score a line right there in the middle. And then that's going to be our termination point to where the epoxy flake starts and ends. Right? It's going to end right over here.
Perfect.
A couple other options you can do. This is a brand new concrete. It's beautiful. Really no need to dress it up. You could extend the polyaspartic all the way out to the apron. Polyaspartic is UV stable. It's going to have protection. We're going to kind of seal everything in. It's going to add like a wet look to it. It looks like a wet finish. It looks really nice on some different type of aggregates. But usually customers just opt to end it right there. And when they open the door, brand new garage door that way. So
beautiful.
That's how we like to handle that.
Beautiful. One thing I do want to point out to customers looking to buy a floor, they think about the interior color of their floor and what they want inside their garage. If you're running your floor beyond that line up to the front edge, you also have to be cognizant that this edge here is going to be exposed when you close your garage door. So not only are you looking for the flake for the garage color, but you have to make sure it doesn't clash with the outside of the house. This is white, so it's a very neutral color. But I've had some people, they'll pick a beige color, they close their garage door and it's blue on the outside of their house and it doesn't match. So keep that in mind when you're looking for floor color.
So with this, you want to basically fill out. So we're going to cut it right where the door falls.
So he's just drawing a straight line across the door. And it's important that you use the door as your straight edge, because if you use a straight edge, sometimes these doors are warped a little bit and it won't line up with the door. So this is the actual straight edge of the door. He's tracing it out with a Sharpie. And we're going to open the door and then we're going to cut a groove on that mark. You see the mark he's leaving there?
Beautiful. All right, I'm confident. See what she looks like.
Okay, let's see. So that's our line. Now they're going to use a grinder with the straight cut wheel. I'm going to show you that straight cut wheel. They have a 20-inch DeWalt grinder. There's the straight wheel on it. What is this, a 4.5 inch? Yeah, that's a 4.5 inch wheel. That's almost dead, but all you need is a little groove.
Alrighty, we are down to the white cap. This is what it looks like after the grinding's finished. Came back in, had a little bit of touch-ups to do with these low spots right here. So normal, this is kind of usually where the steel trowel kind of pushes in a little bit lower. After we hit the grinder north, south, east to west, if anything hasn't really come up yet, you usually have to go back in just gingerly with the hand grinder and kind of touch it up, especially where there's going to be heavy vehicle traffic, ingress in and out. So got that, got my audio working now. Apologize, I think my intro was not being recorded correctly. So right now, not too much crack repair here. We're gonna get this CFS material set up and we're gonna do some dressing up here. We got this little intersection right here that I'm not really happy with, ugly. You got that corner piece missing, that corner piece missing. So we're gonna give the customer a little TLC. Basically, I'll show you, I'll get my tripod set up in a second, but we're using, this is a two-part A and B polyurea crack fill. So basically, we got this is CFS part A, CFS part B. What you do is you get yourself a handy dandy little ketchup bottle, already pre-mixed. We used this last week. You always try to reuse the bottles. If you get the material out quick enough, you can, George, excuse me, Porta. I'm making a video, my friend. Gracias, unbelievable. All right, so yeah, measure out 100, equal part A to part B ratio. Pour it in there. You got like a minute or two. You put the cap back on, shake it up, and then your goal is to either go around the floor, fill in any cracks, any spalling. This floor is in relatively really good condition, so we're not going to be doing any of that today. We're going to be mixing it up with sand. What's really good about this material is you can pretty much make a, it's like a Play-Doh-y consistency, durable mixture. So you take a little bit of sand, take a little bit of the part A, part B, you mix it up, and then you're gonna create a little paste here, and then you can create this paste, and it's gonna work quick. So remember, you gotta get out quick, and you can use this material to go around, and you can fill in spots on the vertical walls. If there's anything, any ugly, any holes on the vertical walls, any major spalling areas on the floor. If it's a viscous material, it's a liquid, so if you add sand to it, it's gonna be a little bit thicker. You can kind of take care of larger repairs. So I'm gonna get my tripod set up and show you how we take care of this little, this area right here.
See, that's like cookie dough. It's perfect. And we're going to put that in there and patch. Now this is self-priming. Since that is such a thin viscosity material, he's going to push that in there and it's going to soak into the concrete. And you'll see where he wipes the trowel there, it's going to turn dark, which means it's soaking into the concrete. He's just going to patch that, and then after this sets in 10 or 15 minutes, then he's going to cut that joint again. And one thing I do want to show here, see how dark the concrete is there? That shows how the epoxy wicked into the concrete, which is what they want.
Let's get a little more here. Let's get that, clean that up right there, if you don't mind.
Just going to patch a little bit, and then just basically wait for that to set, and then saw cut it. They have their diamond grinder with the 4.5-inch wheel. They're going to take that and cut the joint right back into it. So now at least you're going to have a nice cross.
Might as well. You got extra material. A little extra right there. A little more.
All right, so he's mixing up 3/4 of a gallon of primer now. When he's done with that primer, they're going to pour it into, I believe, that tray, and they're going to start working on the primer. Then right behind that, they're going to mix up the intermediate coat and start putting that down. Okay, so the rain slowed down a little bit. They were able to open the door for me. I didn't want to open the door thinking it was taped shut. The primer is on this, and it just goes to show how much the primer soaks in. What the primer is designed to do. So when the intermediate coat goes on this, it's going to be much thicker. See how thick that looks like it's going on now? And in about 3 minutes, that's just going to soak in and virtually disappear. So this is all he's doing for the stem walls. This is just the primer, though. These guys are working ahead. Look at this, the detail work. He's doing the mortar joints with a brush because the roller doesn't hit them that well. So these guys are going to go around with the primer first. Again, they have it in trays here. Now, there's a pot life to this material. So this stuff in the tray, it's probably going to last, I'm going to guess, 25 minutes or so, might make it 30, because it's a flat, low-profile tray. In a bucket, the more volume you have, the quicker it sets. So in a bucket, it's only going to last like 13 or 15 minutes. So that's the advantage of having it in a tray. It does extend the working time a bit. I'll see if I can set this up on time lapse to get the rest of this. All right, so Sean is going to start flaking this vertical, and you see sometimes your hand works the best, but you got to get that flake on there, and typically it's not just going to stick on its own. You have to help it along. So once he gets out of the corner here, I'll show you his trick with the magic trowel. So see what he's doing? He's putting the flake on the floor, tucking the magic trowel in, and pulling out. Look at that, beautiful thing. So that is the trick, folks. That is the trick everybody has been asking. How do you flake the vertical? Now, if you throw the flake at the vertical, a lot of it will bounce off. But by doing what he's doing, he's forcing it into the surface. And I always used to tell people to use a spackling knife, but I gotta tell you, that magic trowel works really well. So either will work for sure. Now, obviously, too, this flake is now on the floor, which they're gonna have to clean up before they do the floor. But that's just part of the process. So there's using your head. I'm gonna stick with this really close just so everybody sees how this works here. Look at that. So, and this is why it's also very important too to use a base color that's complementary of the flake. Now this is, what is this, light gray, Sean?
Light gray, yep.
This is light gray, and I'm gonna try to zoom in. But the light gray matches one of the flakes really closely. So if you missed a spot, it's not like it's the end of the world. Like here at the end of this board here, so I'm kind of pointing that out, Sean. There's
I'm not trying to dig, I'm not trying to. There we go.
See that? And that's what happens when you force it on there. That's how you do stem roll. So we're going to do this whole thing. Well, I say we. Sean actually is the master. I'm just holding the camera. But we're going to work our way around the perimeter here. I'll put this on time lapse, and I'll probably zoom in one more time just to show some more detail on the actual wall itself. Now they're applying the intermediate coat. See, he's got the pile of flake and he's pulling it up with a magic trowel. And that is an 18-inch magic trowel specifically. Everybody always wants to know the details, so here they are. 18-inch magic trowel. Now this is a little bit of a challenging stem wall because you're going up underneath the trim, which is not necessarily common, I guess. Normally it's this type of configuration. Even here is a little unusual because here, this is wood out to here. Over here is the most common configuration where it's wood that only comes out like 1.5 inches or 2 inches. So a little unusual, but this is the detail stuff right here. And a little trick of the trade too, if you have the person in front of you applying the intermediate coat, the fresher the intermediate coat is, the better the flake sticks. So what I'm saying is you don't want to put the intermediate coat on a half an hour ahead of time and try to do what Sean's doing now. It's not going to stick as well. So he's rolling it on 6 feet to his left. Sean is coming right behind him and putting the flake on the vertical. He's keeping that edge clean as he goes. Good, Sean. See the technique. And I mean, it may look messy, but it's so much easier to do it this way than try to do it like surgically and not drop flake on the floor. It's very tough to do. And then after they get done, they just have to go around the perimeter, clean all the excess flake off. And this afternoon, we're going to do the whole floor. We're actually going to do the primer, the intermediate coat, and flake yet this afternoon. Right now it's 11:52 a.m. So yeah, we're about what, almost 4 hours into our day. We had a little rain delay in there also. But the floor will go quick. The floor is going to be the quickest part. Right, it's the prep work that gets you, right, Sean?
6 P's, baby, 6 P's. Perfect prep prevents piss poor performance. Right?
There you go. There you go. You two might flag me for that. I don't know. I hope not. All right, let's see it. All right, I'm going to put this back on time lapse. All right, so the stem walls are done. I think that took about an hour to do all the stem walls. I'm kind of guessing at this point. Stem walls are done. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break. They're pulling the tape now, by the way. Remember I said you can never leave the tape on overnight, so he's going to pull the tape. So you have a nice crisp edge there. It looks nice and clean. And then after we take a lunch break here, we're going to come back. We're going to do the low viscosity primer and then the CFS intermediate coat on top of that, full flake, and then we're done for the day.
Alrighty, we are about to drop the primer and intermediate coat. Real quick, a little tip of the trade. Blue tape across the joints makes it a lot easier to move the material across the floor. Usually, we'd have to kind of work the material in one pad, jump to the other one, jump to this one, jump to that one, kind of work in 4 quadrants here. But now we're going to be able to just push the material all across the floor, pull the tape when we're done, work our way in there with the fine brush, and then yeah, that's going to be able to be easily coated with the primer coat. But we won't be able to do that with the intermediate coat, but just the primer. So getting mixing up right now and setting up the tripod. Let's go.
Okay, it's raining out, so we got this door closed up. Here is the low viscosity primer, CFS low viscosity primer. We're going to pour that down first. I'm going to try to stay out of their way. I can't even get out of their way because I can't step out the garage door. So you're going to see how this works. Notice how he's pouring all of the material out. Do not ever leave the mixed epoxy in the bucket. I must say this 100 times a day. Right now it's probably 101. Okay, so that is all of the primer. Now I'm going to try to get in here and show you close up how you typically squeegee this. So once you get out of the corner, it's always a pain working your way out of the corner, but once you get out of the corner here, he's going to get a technique. And there's a little puddle coming off the edge there. I don't know if you see it, but that's real convenient when you're using your 6-inch edge roller to grab that little puddle to fill the rest of that gap. He's not dragging the squeegee down the wall because that flake on the wall is still wet. If he drags the squeegee down, he's going to chip that flake right off of there, and you're going to see it. Oh, well, we curled the tape. Okay. Again, working your way out of the corner is always... And squeegees are designed for pushing, so you always want to push it like a snow plow. It's much easier to pull a puddle, or to push a puddle than to pull a puddle. I just said it backwards. So if there's an area, like he's not going to be able to squeegee under there, so he's going to leave a little puddle outside there. That way you can get your 6-inch roller in the puddle, and then you can roll underneath those steps. Anywhere where you can't get with the squeegee, just leave a little bit of excess so you can roll into it. When you're getting out of the corners and into the main floor is always the challenge. Once you do it, you're in good shape. Now, after they get this primer down, they're going to pull that blue tape and they're going to put the intermediate coat all over everything. That's just simply so the primer doesn't run down into that joint too bad. A lot of people always ask me, when you have 4 squares like this, do you do each square independently? And you don't, because if you do each square independently, it's like doing 4 separate jobs. It's very time consuming that way. So you want to try to do this all at one shot, like we are now. And normally I'd have my tripod in here, except there's not enough room for a tripod with the door closed and rain, so I have to hold this the whole time. Let me know when you want that door open, Sean. I'll open that for you. So you wait until you get the puddle past the door, and then you open that door. And the prime coat's pretty forgiving. I mean, once you get it down, all you're going to do after you squeegee it out is roll over it. You're just trying to get color all over everything. This is going down at 10 mils, although some material might be soaking into the concrete, which you really don't know what you're going to run into until you start doing it. You're clear. Look at that, very carefully, and he jumped it. Good job. Now, it's so funny, people think, oh, it's easy to do a little closet. Little rooms, I'll take a big room any day over a little room. Little rooms are so hard because you're working your way out of 4 corners, trying to push a puddle around. Yeah, I'll take big rooms any day. I think it's much easier to walk 100 feet with a squeegee and turn and come back than going 4 feet, dancing around in a circle like that. He's doing edging over here. He's got a 6-inch roller. You see he's dipping into the puddle. Yeah, you're good. You got a lot of puddle yet.
It's crazy how hard this goes.
Well, and this is the advantage of the primer. It's a thin viscosity material. It's really easy to squeegee thin if you have to. But what you don't know is the porosity of the concrete until you're on a floor. If you know you have soft porous concrete, you have to be a little careful because it's going to disappear on you. It's going to want to soak into the concrete, which is doing right what it's supposed to do, but might end up using up some extra material. I'm trying to get everything in here, but I don't want to get in the way.
Yeah, spikes on there?
You're right, I know. Yeah, just what you need is a third person in the closet. Yeah, right. All right. I'm stepping in. Oh, God.
So, Jason, next time that's where are you at? On your recording?
6:30.
6 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yep.
Okay.
So we're 6 minutes in. We're just about halfway. We did the worst part of it already, the toughest part. He's just trying to be very careful with the tape now as to not push the tape out of place, which you're doing a good job.
Is this all the primer down?
Yep.
No more than cuts.
Remember I was saying 3 gallons covers 500 square feet, 10 mil thickness. So that big puddle he is there, that's going to be plenty to do that quadrant there. Now he's got a big puddle over here too. So that's going to stretch out. Now granted, you have that little bump out over there. But yeah, look at all that material. You're going to have plenty. Now what's interesting is here, I don't know if you can see this, but the primer is actually soaked in totally. Rich, I don't know if you can see over here, the primer actually soaked in totally, and this is part of what I was telling you about. Sometimes you'll squeegee over and you're like, oh my God, it dried. It didn't dry, it's soaked in. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do. But now, if you put a primer down and it soaks into the concrete like that, you're not going to be able, or you're not going to put a coating on it and have it peel. I mean, it can't peel unless it rips the surface of the concrete off.
Want me to move this one? Just yet. I want you to push up so you feel the hallway. What's that?
we're doing a squeegee handoff. No pressure. All right, Rich is going to try the squeegee. And you see what he's doing when he comes down here with the squeegee, he actually pushes on the tape and goes with it, which is actually really smart so you don't hook it. And again, they're going to pull this tape, as soon as this stuff is squeegeed out, they're going to pull the tape and back roll the whole thing. And then they're going to do the intermediate coat right on top. No pressure. Social media crisis. Do you set that in the epoxy at all or no?
Not yet.
No. Yeah. No, it's tough with the rain outside. We can't open the door. Okay, now we have our 1/4-inch epoxy glide roller. Sean is wetting that up, and I know I'm right in his way anyway. So once he gets that wet up in the puddle, there's a puddle left over there.
Okay. Now, when you go on this, if you push this roller too far on the wall, on the wall, there's a nice thin roller. What do you do about that?
Yeah, don't do it. So what is funny is you see the difference. This is not back rolled, and that's back rolled. It's amazing just the back rolling process, how it just knocks everything down. Yeah, this soaked in here more than I thought it would. This is a pretty hard concrete and pretty dense, but it's still soaked in.
Yeah, why is he doing that? Just drives okay. And this is the first guy I worked on, so this time-wise, it's you'll be a lot smoother.
Well, and also when you put the intermediate coat down, it's going to be much nicer. This is just sealing the surface. It's soaking in. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But this is how the primer works.
This is why you don't want to have anything. See this spike mark right there? See, everything is already done in the left corner. You don't want to get back in the right corner. Digging it out where this is not right now. I probably put a little bit more cereal. I was a little nervous not thinking I would take steps out like that. I felt a little harder than I used to. With the knee coat,
So, and neat coats, for those who are listening or watching that may not know what that is. A neat coat is basically putting down a solid color floor, no flakes, no anything. So a neat coat would be, well, if you're doing it the right way, you would put down a coat of primer, and then you would put down a top coat of either epoxy, polyaspartic, or, well, polyurea. Typically, the polyureas are used for base coats, though.
Is this a rain rose?
It's sucking right in. Yeah, here, you can see it in the light. I'm going to try to get up really close here to show this, but that's what the primer does. It like totally soaks in, which is what it's supposed to do. So now your next coat is bonded to the primer, which is fused into the concrete. It's impossible for it to peel. And by the way, this is what one-day floors don't do. You can't do a one-day floor with a primer. And you can't do a one-day floor, well, if they claim it's a primer, it's a rapid set material. It's set so quick it doesn't have a chance to penetrate into the concrete. That's why the 3-coat system is far superior in bond strength.
push down, halfway, about halfway over that. So just like that, and that. No, I don't really walk too much on that way. Yeah. I would be rolling out the door, or facing this way, but it's raining, I can't.
No, Sean, I'm going to drive you nuts. I'm standing over here. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm going to have to bleep that one out. Oh, yeah.
Consistency, we want it always be at 90. You don't want this out halfway, you want to keep it rolling. Even over here. Just keep it rolling. See your little what. So when you do that, when you come out.
Okay, now we're waiting for the intermediate coat. I'll pick back up when that comes in. And here we go. This is the same process that we did with the primer. And I was going to squeegee out the intermediate coat. This is virtually the same material. It's a little bit thicker viscosity material. I'm going to watch what you do at the joints here. All right, so you're just kind of doing them independently a bit. Okay, so you're going to jump it. So he's just going to like push quickly with the puddle as to not lose too much material in there. Is that what you were going to do? Or did I just force you to do something you know? And whatever you want to do. Now, do it how you normally do it. It surely is not my job. I'm just trying to have a video. This is a documentary, the day in the life of an epoxy floor installer.
Real world action.
Again, working out of the corner, it's always a challenge sometimes working out of the corner.
You want me to push this over for you? Imagine? No? Yeah.
How many pounds of down pressure do you think you're putting on that squeegee? Not to hold you to it, but
10, 15?
10 pounds, 15? All right. Now this is thicker, so what do you think you did on the primer? The same or different?
Well, maybe a little bit of it. This is actually, I'm not really looking at my hand, I'm kind of just using the, it's not too much. A little bit on the back end of the squeegee.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much on the front. It's there's definitely some force here, but not too much. We're losing spikes over here.
Oh, somebody's got
Someone got the tube spikes. What is this? I think that's mine. Spikes off tube.
How much was in that bucket yet?
In this bucket?
Yeah, that you just poured out. Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, man, that material went really quick if that was 3 gallons. All right, so keep in mind, I always tell everybody not to leave mixed epoxy in the bucket. These guys know what they're doing. He's trying to do some edging with that, but he's going to have to pour that out fairly soon.
Carlos, we shouldn't need the small brush, Poppy. We should need the roller. Yes. Sure. Yeah, Carlos. We have a lot on the wall over here. There's a lot of building. You don't need the 6 inch. You need the 6 brush. Okay, this is that. You need 6 inches. Come on, guys. Let's go. I need you up here. Come on, 6 inches back. Come on.
6-inch ribbon curls.
Like you know, you can get a small brush. Yeah. And work into the joints. Carlos, I need a small brush. Carlos, I need a small brush. Keep it. Where? Left hand. Sorry. Right into the joint, Tom? Yeah.
Yep, just back and forth, just kind of work it in and get it consistent. That's what you're looking to do.
Okay.
There you go. You still have half a bucket of epoxy over here.
Lay down one small bead here. One small bead for male, one small bead for male. You say.
And look at this. I always say bugs love epoxy. Where did this guy come from? It was like 40 degrees this morning.
Come here.
Jesus. Oh, look at you trying to save the bug.
I'm gonna save him. George!
Look at bug. Oh, God, get the bug. Oh, you know he's going to come back in here. I know you're trying to save that thing, but he already invited 20 of his friends.
Can you put some water on him? Clean him up.
To save, oh man. You're a much better man than I.
A little water, no acetone.
clean the bug with acetone. All right. So this epoxy was in the bucket, I don't know, about 5 minutes after they mixed it, which, you know, as long as you're cognizant of what you're doing, you're okay, but he's pouring it out now. It's going to stay cool. Now that he's pouring it out, you don't want to leave that sit in the bucket very long. Not Sean's first rodeo by any means. So Rich is taking a brush and just kind of going up and down these joints. They're leaving these joints open, so he's just kind of going up and down the joints with the brush, just trying to work the epoxy in the joint. Oh no, oh, it is your shoe. Oh no.
Apparently you need to tighten this. I didn't read the instructions. It said tighten spikes before use.
Tighten spikes, always tighten spikes, yeah.
Who reads the instructions on spike shoes?
It's funny, Richard showed me his shoes that he brought, and I'm like, did he tighten the spikes? That's the first thing I said.
That's what you asked?
Yeah. Richard, what did I say to you this morning when you showed me your spikes?
Tighten the spikes.
That's the first thing I said to him.
You didn't ask me that, mentor.
Well, gee, those shoes have some miles on. I shouldn't have to ask you that. Those have like a couple 100 miles on.
I see who your favorite suit is.
Yeah.
Hey, Richard. Got it.
All right, I'm going to step across the line. I want to be out here for when you flake. And then I'm going to get out of your way permanently here. But it's getting windy. I can feel the wind. No, it's actually not too bad. It got windy right before that rain came. You look like, oh no.
It's the same one.
Oh, it keeps flipping out of your shoe. Oh yeah, you'll find that later. Oh, there's the, I see the lid for the acetone. It's in the stone right behind your camera. There you go. You lost that. Well, a little closer than you thought, huh?
A little bit closer. A little bit closer. I got some fat boys up here.
Oh, you did. Yep, you did.
Some fat boys up here.
Oh, yeah, look at that puddle. Jesus.
Hey, I resemble that. I wouldn't mind a brush
On a pole, yeah. Yeah, that's the old person trick there, which I would do myself. I'm not calling you old. Yeah, Richard and I are the same age, by the way, so it's not an age joke.
Yeah. Well, we got to charge. A little bit extra. George, I need gloves. Want this? Look.
See, and this is epoxy management. You, as you're squeegeeing, you look at the end of the slab, you look at your puddle, and over time you kind of know how far the puddle's going to go, whether you have to push harder or not on the squeegee.
Oh, you have them start cleaning up. Put the hose down. Block time to help those spikes falling off.
Probably, yeah. Because, I mean, they're sandwiched in rubber, so, you know, the rubber flexes. but you can change the spike. So as long as you can undo it when the time comes.
I haven't had a long time yet that can resist my temptation. We want to try doing on our pressure washing trailers. The massive vibration.
Yeah.
Richard, if you don't mind, would you, like, bend it over? Come dress up this,
Bricks.
brick. Yeah, get that up. We need an extra, some extra water there. Okay, remember that. That's what I have to do. Plugs, we got rocks, we got all sorts of stuff. All right, George, I need the 18-inch drawer, please. Ah, sapatos nila. Okay. Ayos. And watch your sapatos and then you get shoes. Yeah. Where's the chart? Where's the chart? Come on. Come on, my friends.
Okay, now we're back out with the roller. Is that the same roller from the primer?
Same roll, yeah.
Okay, so same roller. Now, all in all, I think we're about 30 minutes after we installed the primer total until now. It was about 15, 20 minutes to get the primer down. This seemed to go down a little bit quicker. We're at 11 minutes now. Now he's going to back roll the intermediate coat, and then we're going to flake immediately after that. So actually, the installation is the quickest process out of the whole thing. You agree, Sean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's all, it's really all in the prep. It's
all in the prep. Don't take preparation shortcuts.
No acetone, no washing, nothing. One way and the right way.
Yeah, and you can hear in the roller, this is a thicker viscosity material. I'm just going to get in close so people can hear this. Good action video there. You know what I never got on video, Sean? I never got anybody falling in the epoxy.
Yeah.
No, Richard? No, yeah, we don't want you to fall. You're not going to get up. Oh, God. We're going to have to pick you up. We're all going to be a mess. My God.
I go about 250, so you can get your muscle workout. You can really try a little bit. Yes. Yep.
And we need, Carlos, if you can, you got a little too much wax over here. In this joint. Richard, where's that brush at?
Oh, you got to pull that. So Sean just pointed out in this joint, see how deep it is there, and then there's some epoxy in there. They're just going to take that brush and try to pull that puddle back a little bit.
Where's the other chip brush? Here? Yeah. Give me a favor. Push. Give me a favor. See that? Look at me that way.
So he's just pulling that puddle back and forth a little bit just to try to even it out a little bit.
A little more, one more time, 2 more times.
And then he's going to back roll over it, and that will dress it up. And then today when we full flake, you probably won't even see the joints. And then tomorrow morning, we'll just back drag a 5-in-1 in there to clean those joints out.
Yep.
Right here. Good. On this side, over here.
Now on this side, you're
It's the changing of the guard. I'm going to go over on this side.
Right. Straight. Got a little extra there. Push that out. Nice and slow. Keep it moving.
more terminal, so I can like do that. All right, so you're just spinning. Okay. All right.
Easier line that you use this as a diamond.
Oh, that's this up again.
I'm going to run and get my tripod for the next phase of this. I'll be right back. Okay, we just started flaking. So Sean is showing Rich how he flakes. And what I always do is consistently throw the flake all over the floor. Not super heavy, but I do it so you know you have enough flake. And then you come back and you go a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier. If you know you have enough flake, you can throw extra out, but it's probably not a good practice to throw it all out. If you run out and you're 3/4 of the way through, you won't have enough flake.
This, and you don't want to go super heavy under there yet. You don't want to like start maybe a little bit half of what you're doing on the floor. Start peppering it in there. It's a little heavy. And then over here. And then this again. Now you're on the other side.
Sean, is that always satisfying for you when you throw flake?
I love it.
You look like you enjoy throwing flake.
Feeding the chickens.
Feeding the chickens. I always used to get comments about that every time we do it. And it's so funny, everybody that says it like it's the first time you heard it. Oh no, this is the passing of the torch here.
It's a little heavy, so you want to think about it. Just halfway like that, and just higher.
No pressure. No pressure.
Straight line. Straight line.
Nobody's watching, Rich.
A little more than that, baby.
So like a handful like this.
That's not good. Higher. Keep walking.
Yeah, it's important to throw it high so it breaks up on you.
Keep on this side. Higher. Good. A little too far. I'd say a little bit halfway if you're doing like grinding. You have kind of half and half. All right, you did. Oh shit! We almost had one. We almost had it. We almost had it. I spoke too soon on the.
And I'm holding the camera right on you.
Try to have a little bit on this side and more, try to overlap.
And it is so funny. It's throwing flake. It's not like it's that involved, but if you never did it, you just have to get the feel for it.
Good. You come up, kick the wall a little bit. Start to turn, go this way. Start to turn, get a little more like that. Perfect. Yep.
this high-tech scale we have here. Does your wife know you have that?
No, she'll kill it. I'll show you something.
All right, I got it on video. Sorry, Corey. All right, so let's just see, how do you activate your scale there?
Oh, it's a push-up, so I'm usually going that heavy.
Okay, so let's see what we get on the scale here.
19, 20,
Well,
15 and 20 pounds.
Between 15 and 20 pounds of down pressure. I mean, you're not trying to remove the epoxy from the floor, you're just trying to scrape it, and you're snapping off all the sharp tips of the flake. So,
And this is my initial push too, so I'm going to be a little bit heavier on my initial push versus once I get down, you get to, each layer gets a little bit finer and finer as you work through it. So, you know, on the second, I go, you'll see in the video, but I'll push everything. I'll push my heavies. I'm going to push my heavies all the way to the wall first, come back, and then just work my way, push everything up against the wall first, come back. I'm going to go north to south, go north to south across the floor one time, probably a second time. I'm really, it's really important that you make the floor, you don't want it smooth, you want it to have some bite, but it's important that there's no flakes sticking up. They're like razor blades after you put the Polyaspartic in there. So north to south, probably twice. It was a heavy application of flake yesterday. And then probably two times east to west. And then that way I know everything's been hit consistently. I'll show you a little pattern of how I mark my blade across the floor. So you don't lose track because you can kind of get disoriented. Looks like TV static right now. So you kind of can get lost of where you, but as with anything on the floor, it's just consistency. As long as you're consistent, you don't start doing zigzags, you don't start doing anything crazy, you'll be, anybody can do it.
what do you do to clean out those joints that you did yesterday? Because right now, if you look, there's a joint in there, you can't even see it. It's not filled with epoxy, but it's bridged with the flake.
Yep.
So what do you do to clean those joints out? You've got the handy dandy 5-in-1 tool. So you, back drag that?
Go through that. Yep,
Okay.
like this.
All right, we're going to get that on video once we get going here.
Right
But
here at the front.
now look at that nice edge, that nice crisp edge along the front here.
One. And drag it down.
Yeah, and see, look, just one quick drag, and look at that line, how that opens up the joint there. And then you're going to vacuum that out and blow it out, all that other good stuff. But, all right, so I'll get back with you once we start doing the scraping here so you see it. Hey, Sean, quick question for you. You were just talking when you were scraping the flake here with Rich, and you said, what happens if you don't scrape your flake good enough?
Well, basically, important from aside from the texture and the sharpness of the floor, the top coat is Polyaspartic Topcoat. So the more material, the more flake that you have on the floor, the more Polyaspartic it's going to absorb. So if we were to leave the floor, not as is right now, but if we were to give it just a light scrape or even with the broom, there's still a lot of pores between the flake. And so versus you get something where it's been scraped south, you have a little more fine, a little more smooth, so it's not going to use as much material.
Right.
So it's important. So yeah,
So,
basically, the better you scrape, not the less material you use, but the right amount of material is going to be used versus the incorrect, which you don't have, is running out of material.
right, so it's very important to scrape your flake multiple directions, just like you're doing now. Otherwise, you may not have enough top coat because there's too many voids to fill between the flake. Yeah. All right, I'll get back to time lapse. I just wanted to show that to the watchers here. All right, so we're getting ready to put down the Polyaspartic Topcoat. This is the CFS 2C Polyaspartic. The great thing about this product is it's virtually odorless. And I mean, I want to say odorless. I'm sure somebody on this planet can detect something, but it is extremely low odor. The way this is packaged, it's a gallon of A, gallon of B in separate containers in the bucket. You can mix in the bucket. The other great thing about this, well, it comes with a mixing paddle, which is cool, but I don't know if you can see the markings on there. This is marked out, so if you have to break the kit down, there's markings so you can do it properly, because you always want to stay on ratio with any of these materials. I just want to go over some of the tools here really quick. So they're going to be using paint trays to do the stem walls, just to contain the material. The rest they're just going to pour on the floor. We have a 24-inch squeegee. This happens to be the Seymour Midwest S550 squeegee. This is a 18-inch quarter-inch nap epoxy glide roller, and this is a a Wooster Big Bend roller frame. Here's a 6-inch edge roller, and that's just a 6-inch roller cover, lintless roller cover. Make sure you always use lintless so you don't track lint on your floor from your roller. Okay, so we're getting ready to mix the CFS 2C Polyaspartic. Again, these are in pre-marked containers. We marked a half gallon. We're going to mix up a gallon just for the stem walls first. That's the advantage of this material. It's easy to break down a kit. So they're going to go ahead and mix. They have this container here so you don't get any splatter when you mix. It's kind of hard to get in there and get the details, but go ahead, Carlos, you can mix that up. So he's going to put a gallon of each in there. Then we're going to mix that up. And when you mix it, I'm going to say approximately 2 minutes of mixing time. You don't want to over-mix it. It's very important when you're mixing any materials to make sure you get the edges really good and don't whip air into it. It's probably not the best angle to get some video footage of you doing this, but it looks good to me. Okay. You're good, sir. Good. One more. Yep. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, you're good there. Okay. Now they have the mixing paddle right there. So he's going to mix this. This is in the bucket that it came in. Make sure you get the edges good and the bottom. You never want to make sure you leave stuff on the edge or bottom. Very common thing people do is they don't get the edges or the bottom. They pour the material out and then they leave the bucket upside down in the middle of the floor. And that stuff that was around the edges that isn't mixed runs out on the floor and it's unmixed material. Definitely not what you want to do. So Carlos is going around the edge perimeter, which is what you want to do. Go up and down, get the bottom good. Make sure you get every square inch. So I'm going to let him mix that, and I'm going to get ready to video them squeegeeing. Or I'm sorry, they're doing the stem walls first. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to start working on these stem walls. One thing I want to point out right off the bat, Sean is working on an area where the epoxy was heavy. Maybe it rained down the wall and there's a little light flake there. So we're going to show you what to do if you have an area that doesn't seem to be as heavy flake as the rest of the floor. It's a real easy fix. Sean's putting down some polyaspartic right now. I'm going to get some of the leftover flake. And all you're simply going to do is take a little flake and just sprinkle a little bit. You're not going super heavy, but you're just throwing a little bit on there, and that's going to camouflage that so you're never going to see it. Now, you're putting your top coat on top of that, so you're going to roll over it again with another wet coat, and you're never going to see that that was even there. It's just a little camouflage so you don't see it. And just like that, it's gone. Perfect. Yep, and then when you roll over it with the roller, you're going to encapsulate that and you'll never see that. All right, so these guys are just going around with the brush, doing the very top edge. See, this trim, this is a very unusual trim. I don't know if I've ever, well, I have run into this before, but the trim sticks out at least an inch. So now Sean has the tray with the polyaspartic, and he's just going to do a left to right roll all the way around the perimeter. I'm thinking you can see the gloss already. It's kind of hard. You got to get in the light here. But with clear coats, you have to be a little cautious. You want to make sure you overlap because you really can't see what you're doing. And of course, my phone is ringing here. Stem wall action. I'm try to get right in here, show in detail what you're doing there. Again, this is a zero odor material. And like, do you detect anything, Sean? I mean, this is like
Nothing.
It's
a faint, like, something's there. It's not like not there.
Yeah, but it surely is not at all obnoxious. Like, my God, you can't really detect anything. I mean, it's not even paint, right? I mean, it's very, very low.
Yeah, this one detects nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I want to video this. I want to see if you get your arm in it or something. Yeah, that's... I'm sure you reached all the way back there. Well, if that's as far as you can reach, I think you're good. If anybody's under there and notices that, there's a problem. All right. All right, Sean, what are you getting ready to do?
The aluminum oxide.
Okay, tell me about aluminum oxide. What grit do you have there?
We're looking at a 36 grit of aluminum oxide.
36 grit, okay. All right, how much aluminum oxide do you think you need for a floor? Well, you're going to show us. It's kind of hard to...
Just walk away across, and aluminum oxide helps with the traction. Flake is going to have a lot of bite to it as well, already, naturally.
Right.
What the aluminum oxide does, it's a not very coarse material, it's very hard. It's a 9 or 8 on the most hard
It's a 9 on the most hardness scale, yes. It's a very hard, it's like sand aggregate, but it's white, but it turns clear in the clear coat.
Yeah, it helps with traction, slippage, yeah, helps with a little bit of protection as well. So
okay.
Take it, take a little handful at a time, about a pinch, no more than that.
Okay, so
it's really hard to see because
it is very hard to see.
you go back to consistency.
I almost don't want to talk to you while you're doing this because it's very important to stay consistent with these floors. You always hear me say consistency is so important. A consistent floor is a good floor. You see he's walking in a pattern here and he's kind of throwing it up in the air. And it's very important to throw it up and spread it out. And it's going to hit the flake and it simply disappears. You don't even see where it lands. I landed on my head. That was my own fault. So he's walking around, throwing the flake. I couldn't very well video that. Now what you can also do is you can add a little more aluminum oxide like in front of the doors if you want something a little heavier right where people come in if it's wet there. All right. And that was it. All right. So that was it. And that was what, do you think about a pint maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it really wasn't that much. I mean,
2 cups, 3 cups, maybe that much, maybe not even that. So, yeah.
It wasn't very much. Wasn't very much. Okay, very good. Now we'll move on. Oh, you got the polyaspartic mixed already?
It was on top of it.
Oh, good. Okay, he's gonna. All right, he's gonna mix the polyaspartic. Oh, that was quick. All right, he did mix the polyaspartic. He was just trying to show how the mixture goes there. All right, so now this is the 2nd gallon from that first kit. That was the leftover from the first kit. So we're gonna pour that out.
What do you think? About half of it should cover it.
Well, you only have a gallon, so you're probably gonna come out to about here-ish, I'm guessing. Well, 125 square feet per gallon is the max you can go with this. So 125 square feet is what you're going to get out of that. I mean, you might get 140 out of it, but so you're probably going to come 6 feet off the wall, something like that. We also have to wet our roller up. Remember, you want to wet your roller before you squeegee everything out. That way you don't have like a dry patch on the floor. So again, this is only 1 gallon, but what's funny, you can see when you put the clear on, it changes the color of the flake. It makes it dark, makes the colors pop. So he's going to get on this with the squeegee. We're going to talk about the squeegee. Now this is a heavily used squeegee blade. Sean is very familiar with his squeegee. That probably has 100 miles on it at least. But he's going to push down heavy. This is a used blade, so it's a little firmer. So he's going to push a little bit harder to make sure he squeegees it out right. You see his technique there? He's going to leave a little puddle come off the end. He's trying not to push the puddle into the joint, which if you're filling the joints, you won't have to do that. But and that's the one thing too with these joints, he's almost doing these independently so it doesn't keep filling the joint with the polyaspartic. And Carlos is going to wet up there, and you see the color difference now with the flake. Looking down at it, you see the color difference right there. And it's easier when you squeegee, it's easier to push a big puddle than to try to push little puddles. So it's nice to have like, 1 or 2 8-inch wide puddles and push those as opposed to having 6 2-inch wide puddles or something like that. Right? You agree it's easier to push a big puddle?
Yep. More control.
More control. And in areas where you can't access like that, you just leave a little puddle and then you roll your roller through there and push that puddle back. That's all you can really do. Consistency is very important here.
Try to get a wet edge too between the, that lets green out to 0. He's mixing it now.
Right. Now, and we were talking about you want to get 125 square feet at the max per gallon. We're about 5 feet off the wall. We're about 20 feet wide, right? Maybe 22 feet. So what is 5 feet by 22? You're 100 and, oh, look at that, 25 square feet. Right on the money. Right on the money. All right, he's mixing up more. This time I'm going to get him with the mixer in there. Yep, there he is. Now this is a full 2 gallons. Don't make a mess. Yeah, that's like right on the money. So now 2 gallons is probably going to take you to probably to where that knee wall starts again. Yeah, you'll be able to get the closet probably up to that knee wall, and then you're probably going to use 1 more gallon out of that last kit. Which, I didn't think about it. You should have done a 2 gallon, and then the last gallon. But no, well, we'll see what happens. Okay, dirty bucket coming through. I can't touch dirty handles. I don't have gloves on.
Figure it out.
So now the advantage of putting down the aluminum oxide first is once you start putting the coatings down like this, you don't have to worry about putting the aluminum oxide on top. Just focus on squeegeeing the material out and back rolling, and that's all you have to do. How many pounds of down pressure do you think you're doing, Sean?
15, almost. I'm not going to say the same as scraping, but it's definitely.
Now, I will say the only caveat to that is you have a used blade on there, so it's probably going to be much less on a fresh squeegee. I'm going to say you're probably going to be more like 8 to 10 pounds on a fresh blade.
So we gotta trust the consistency process. You gotta like, if you start doing anything you don't think you normally do, then you're gonna have marks.
That's why I don't want to jump in on this one. They're staying very consistent.
Rich is afraid to help him with the top coat. No, I got you.
I'm barely, this is such a light, I'm just using 2 fingers to hold you push it up. And use your joint as the guide. You want to beat it to the joint there. Just pull it back.
Yeah, this is very permanent. So you're not putting any down pressure on the roller. You're just kind of letting it float, right? Yeah, no, you're letting it float. It's doing its own thing. And here's the thing, you can put this top coat down thinner, but it's going to leave more texture, and the more texture you have, the harder it is to clean. So there's always a happy medium. Most people always say, I want a floor that's super easy to clean, but real rough so I don't slip. Well, you can't have the best of both worlds. So you have to find the happy medium. And this is the happy medium. It's a good, durable, thick top coat. It's going down 12 mils thick. The 36 grit aluminum oxide is really important. If you use a smaller grade grit aluminum oxide, it's not going to poke through the top coat, so you're not going to get that texture because the actual coating is thicker than the aluminum oxide itself. So that's why we always use the 36 grit. And I know we say this all the time, consistency is everything, so you squeegee left to right, you back roll front to back. Always crisscrossing, that way you're eliminating the squeegee marks, and this stuff is going to lay down really good so you're not going to see roller marks, and everything will just look perfect when he's done. All right, so now we're on the inside. I'm standing right next to Sean here, like right next to Sean. Just to show the difference, it's very important that you look in the light when you back roll clear coats. It's really hard to see what's going on. So look at this. You can see the sunlight. Look at what happens when you roll over it. Lays everything down. And it is funny, from the other angle, you can't see it. But right there, I can't even see it on camera. There was a little area right there that was missed, which he's going to roll over. You're going to get that. This is a very quiet roller because this is a good heavy coat here.
Saw that.
And he's coming up. The next hole is going to be that dry spot. So you might want to hit that area twice just because there's a little dry spot. All right, look at that finesse, and boom, it's gone. No down pressure, is just simply front and back, very quiet roller. I mean, you can hear it, but it's a very quiet roller. Yeah, this is a nice heavy top coat. I'm trying to get in here without getting in it. Look at the gloss on that. And when this cures, this is going to be exactly like this when it cures. I'm going to get a good close-up when you come back here. You can roll right past me here. Yeah, and it's funny, the roller mark goes away, you're on the next roll and they're all gone. And this stuff lays down really, really nice.
Yeah, just keep getting down at the right. The first time I move this material, I use a little bit too much, and then we get the air bubbles, you get a little bit too much. It's perfect.
Yeah, and you can overwork polyaspartics. You only really want to back roll it, twice maybe. I mean, after that, you're kind of, unless there's something you're trying to roll out of it, but once you start going over it more than twice, you're going to start overworking it. All right, we are done with the top coat. Now Sean is pulling the tape. Everybody always asks how that joint comes out. Look at that, 3 pieces of tape at a time. That is pro level there. Look at that.
Day 2 in the books. Low odor polyaspartic has been applied. That's it, folks. Final results. Brand new floor for a brand new garage. Look at it. Look at the shine. Look at the luminosity. That's it. Final results here. A lot of work on this special one here. I got my audio working now. Thank you. Had some little difficulty on the intro here. Gonna have to get creative with my editing. Learn something new here every day. So yeah, got everything done. Came through. We had to grind down the floor. Get the joints cleaned up here. Get those cleaned up, dressed up. Had a repair right there to do in the middle. Got that repaired with the CFS CFS Crackfill. Came back in. Had to dress up the stem walls. Used an epoxy primer, intermediate coat, and then flaked domino flake into that. And then came back today, scraped everything up, and then here we are with the top coat. So final results here. It was a special project here. We got some special guests. We got Jason with Concrete Floor Solutions over there. We got Richard with Coastal Creek Seal Coating and Woodwork up in Massachusetts. He's down doing some training with us today. He's learned a lot. Best hands-on training course that you guys can get. None of that 2-day course in a warehouse under perfect conditions. No, you get the real deal Holyfield with us. You get real hands-on training, real world problems, real world issues. So, if you haven't already, go ahead, like, subscribe. Say hi to Jason and Rich. Hey guys, I got my audio working today.
Good job.
Yeah. What'd you learn on the project, Rich?
Lots.
Lots?
The right materials to use, how to lay it down correctly. Learned it from the A-team. Can't wait to do it again.
Jason?
Looking forward to it. This was a lot of fun. It was nice to come out in the field. It was nice to show Rich the ropes a little bit, get to work with Sean a little bit. Haven't been in the field with Sean for quite a while, but Sean, you're doing it right. I'm really proud of you. You really did a great job.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the love and support, guys. Final results, folks. You know what to do. Go ahead and check out this man's channel right there. Do you have a YouTube channel yet?
No.
You will. All right. We'll put something maybe right here. And then, yeah, like and subscribe to my channel. So, appreciate everybody. 1,017 subs. I swear the 1K sub video is coming up here soon. So, appreciate everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.